But you love the work because it's a part of who you are and who God created you. Remember last week we talked about Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good of those who love God. Now watch the verbiage. Who are the called. Not just are called, everybody's called. But you have to actually embody your call. So a preacher becomes preaching. A singer becomes singing. Street sweeper becomes street sweeper. When people see you, your calling is who you are. And you embody it to the point that people know when they talk to you. If it's a preacher, you might get a little small sermon. I might not preach all night, but you're going to get something. When you're a child of God, you embody that position. Not just, all of us, God wanted all of us. He said he would that none be lost. But some people going to wander, and that's what the duty of those of us that are found, to help them find their way back. So she, in a way, she deserved favor in this case. When we're talking about salvation, let's go back to salvation. Salvation. Child grew up in a house. Everybody in that house, drunks, drug addicts, cussers, lazy. Child come out of that house, he grew up, drunk, drug addict, cussing. Can you blame him or her for their upbringing? Can't blame them. When Jesus Christ came on the scene, the people were taught to go to the chief priest. You got to be taught to bring all your goods to the temple. Because you're looking at some of that stuff going, wait a minute, this is some of the best stuff I grew, and I'm going to carry it up here to the temple and give it to him. But what do? Every year, they carry that stuff to the temple. They go up there and, I guess, do their little confession. He tied them to a goat, whatever that practice was. When Jesus came on the scene, he said, hey, hold on. You can go to God for yourself. But now, could he blame those people for following the teaching? Those people exalted themselves as friends of God or servants of God or something, the chief priest. And they're the same thing for us. Growing up in the church, I was taught for years and years and years and years that if you do this right here, God gonna get you. If you do this right here, the devil gonna get you. You go out there and you cut the fool in the world, God gonna get you for that. But as soon as you join the church and give your life to God, now the devil after you. So you kind of doomed both ways. But we learn better than that now. We should know better than that. We got to know better than that. So when we're taught that way, we only become accountable for what we know when we're taught something better. Once you get the information, now as one of my teachers used to say, as long as I haven't taught it to you and you don't know it, I can't hold you responsible for it. But once you get it, now you're responsible. Once you get the material. Once Jesus came on the scene and gave the material and said, this is the way you approach God. And this is, because at that time they were teaching what we've been working on here for weeks, the idea of separation. They had man and God separated. And y'all have been here, we've been working on this because if God is omnipresent in all places, all time, how you separate yourself from that? You can't. David said, if I take the wings and fly high, he up there and said, well, I made my bed in hell. He was there too. And I asked this girl at work last week, if God made hell and created it, then his fingerprints on it. See, Adam's whole deal, Adam and Eve, when they hid from the presence of God, they started denying God's presence or fingerprints on creation. Here's all this stuff that God's handiwork, his fingerprints and handprints are on everything. And they start to back up and say, nah, let me get over here behind this tree. Well, God made the tree. You can't hide from God, he made it. He made the whole thing. We equated it to having a child that do something wrong. You say, come in. They know you're getting ready to get a whooping. They run down the hall and jump in the closet. You know which one that went in. You heard it. You know your house. You know exactly which closet they went in and where they hid. So they ain't hid from you. But in their minds, they're hid from you. See, when God asked Adam, where art thou? He was saying, Adam, where are you in your thinking to think that you can get away from me? What's wrong with you? What idea are you cultivating that you can get out of my presence? So when Jesus came on the scene, only thing Jesus came to do was remind us that God is never gone nowhere. It's you. Some people have been taught wrong. Some people have been taught to teach it wrong. And I know that may be hard to swallow. Some people were taught to teach it wrong. Because a man knows his own divinity, being made in the image and likeness of God, Jesus came to bring it full circle, to take you back to the garden. But not necessarily in one location. Jesus then came to make it global. The garden was everywhere. Just like he told the woman at the well, he said, hey, one day we ain't going to worship it this way. They that worship the Lord worship him in spirit and in truth. That means anywhere you are. So he came back to bring that salvation from the idea of separation and this one big turn. That's spell it right. Not with an A. Satan. That whole idea. Adam Eve stood right there in front of God and gave somebody credit that it wasn't even his fault. The idea that there was that tree. He said, you eat this tree, then you become like God. It's going good living. God said we ain't supposed to eat it. He said, yeah, that's because he want you to be like him. They were already like him. They didn't have to do nothing.